What's up, y'all? It's todayyyy here. Welcome back to my channel. Sorry in advance for my rough and tough voice. Coming down from an allergy cold again. I guess this is how my allergies want to start the year off, but it's quite all right. It's quite all right. So before I get into what today's focus is, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Take a moment to look around a bit, see if you like a little something, because there's a reason you're here. And subscribe to my channel. Like some stuff as well. Share some stuff. Then, when you do doing that, follow me on Instagram at todayyyy1. todayyyy1. So we can continue to connect outside of YouTube. All right? Okay, so like I always say, I won't be before you long. I just want to share something I thought about the other day after watching a video on Instagram. There's a creator, I can't remember her name, but I'm going to put her Instagram handle somewhere right here. But she talks a lot about friendships. And I just feel like I am someone who has learned a lot about myself and about relationships through the breakdown of a lot of my connections with people. And for this video, I'll be talking about my friendships with people at my church. Yeah. But in general, I've learned a lot, you know? And there were times where I realized that I wasn't doing everything I could do to be a great friend. And there were times where I was getting the short end of the stick. It just is what it is. But I feel like it takes a lot to be honest about the role you played in the breakdown of a relationship, both romantic and platonic. And then it also helps to realize where you've been wronged, because I think we can get so used to giving people the benefit of the doubt that we prolong our own self-neglect. And then without even realizing it, we start giving other people the green light to treat us a certain way. And that's not healthy either, right? So, yeah. So today I'll be talking about the time I was ghosted by a friend. Okay. So this goes back all the way to 2000 and probably 20. This goes back to 2020. Yeah, for sure. So I had this friend. I'm not going to say her name. I'll call her Deja. So I had a friend named Deja, who I met at my church, right? And I would say we had a pretty smooth ride as far as developing the friendship, because I saw that she was really, really disciplined in studying the word, saying no to certain things, praying, just everything that I had been trying to do consistently at that time. This was probably back in 2015. And I was fresh in the game. And so I looked at her as an example, and she kind of helped me to learn how to commit to, you know, studying every day. So we would exchange what we learned, what the Lord was saying, just all types of stuff. And I felt like that was just a very, very healthy introduction to godly friendships. A couple of years go by, friendship still going strong. Around 2017 is where I started to see some issues where she would kind of struggle in communicating effectively. Like, something could happen, there would be some type of exchange, and then she would be offended, but wouldn't really communicate that, hey, I'm feeling this way, because it'll just come out in a more aggressive way. And so I would call or text to try to smooth out the situation and to kind of hold her accountable in a way. Just like, I can't read your mind. If you're feeling a way about something I said or something that was done, or if you had a concern, it's okay to just share it. in a way that is friendly or, with grace. It doesn't always have to be an argument or an issue. And thankfully, she will respond well. A couple of years go by, friendship still going strong. 2019, 2020 roll around, and I'm realizing that I'm not as included in outings with her. So we had mutual friends. Granted, she was a bit closer to these people simply because they saw each other more, but I was also cool with them too. So I would ask her about, about her friend groups. Like, do you feel like you're closer to some groups than others, blah, blah, and then she'll say, oh yeah, you, blah, 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 like naming off people are my close friends. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I felt good about being included in that. But then when I would look at the interactions between her and the other people versus her and myself, I would see a difference. Like, I was never, after a while, I would say probably after 2017, early 2018, after that, I was no longer included in group outings. And it would confuse me because I'm just like, you just told me that we all cool, we all your friends, blah, 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 but you decide to no longer include me. Like, and I don't know if I was just like being, at that point I was like, am I being super sensitive, or am I actually, viewing the situation accurately? Like, and so I really started to like look at what was happening. Sometimes we could be more emotional than logical. So I decided to be logical and really look at the facts. The facts told me I wasn't wrong. So I ended up reaching out to her. It was like summer 2020. And I was just like, hey, I have a question. And she was just like, oh, what's your question? And I asked her, I remember you telling me that me and so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so are your close friends, but I see that I'm not really included in your outings with your friends. Why is that? So she responded after a couple of hours saying, yeah, so I stopped inviting you out because you and this other friend, I'm going to call him Brandon, you and Brandon interact too much. Y'all be socializing too much. And so I just decided, to leave you out. So that year, I was still battling, how do I respond to situations like this? Do I lose it? Or do I respond kindly? I was just operating on two different extremes. So in that moment, I decided I'm going to just respond gently. So I said, oh, okay. Well, thank you for being honest. Thank you for letting me know. And that's all right. I just ate the meat, spit out the bone. Like, I'm going to take from this situation what I meant to take from it, but I'm not going to digest it all because I should not be offended. But unfortunately, I was very much so offended. I just decided to respond well outwardly. So a couple of months go by, her birthday comes, and let me backtrack. So the person she was talking about, who I interacted with too much, at that time, him and I were very, very close. We spent a lot of one-on-one time together, so we had a different connection. And the thing was this, I never purposely left people out of our interactions. I was just very, very social, where I would say things to everybody, and he would lean in a heck of a lot more and, laugh and say little sad things and just be, all up in here. And so it would look as though we're just like bonding and trying to leave people out, when in reality, I was socializing with everybody. It's just that he gravitated toward me more. You know? So when she said that, I was just like, why am I the one having to carry the burden of whatever's bothering you when you said it's both of us? Like, him and I are both interacting too much. So why am I the only one being cast out, ostracized, and he still get to kick it? Huh? What's that about? So I think that's what really angered me a bit more. I feel like had we both been ostracized, I might have responded differently internally. It was like, well, I guess we both some goofies or whatever. But it was just me. And it was just that conversation with her and just the whole situation felt a bit too familiar for me because I've been ostracized. You know, I talk a lot on this channel about being bullied, about people trying to leave me out on purpose and trying to humble me and stuff like that. So that was very, very like, I don't know, it just hit me differently. And the more I thought on it, the angrier I got. But I still didn't act funny. So back to what I was saying earlier. Move on to a couple of months later, her birthday comes, and she sends me this invitation to go to something. It was like a birthday event for her. That day, I wished her happy birthday on the post that her mother put up. And then I told her that I wouldn't be able to make it. Primarily because I had planned on going out of town that weekend anyway for an event that this woman, this business owner was throwing in Flint, Michigan. So I had that trip already in the works, had my place planned out, all types of stuff. And then also thinking about, like, if I'm being ostracized from events A through Z, why are you inviting me now? Like, why are you now inviting me to something after months of, or a couple of years of basically casting me to the side? It's just, it didn't make sense in my head. So all of that together led me to just say, you know what, I'm not even going to try to, oh no, let me cancel you. Hey, y'all won't be able to. No, I'm going to still go on this trip. I'm going to still go on this trip. I'm going to wish her happy birthday, still love her, all that. Unfortunately, though, she didn't take me saying no very well. Out of nowhere, one day, I look up, it's saying add friend on Facebook. I look on Instagram, I'm blocked. I'm just like, oh. So here's another situation where there's no communication, nothing's being said, but there are actions being taken behind my back. Now I'm blocked, now I'm ghosted. No conversation, no nothing. I don't even know how long that went. I just know it went on for a while till December. So a few months go by. December rolls around. I'm out of my business. Training for this job, right? And I ended up getting a text. Like, hey, can we talk, or we need to talk, or something along the lines of, we need to set aside time to talk. I respond saying, hey, I need to pray about it, so I'll let you know after I pray about it. First, she says, okay. The girl, what I call her? Deja. I don't know if I mentioned that. First, she says, okay. Then, she texts back going off about how saying that if I have to think about or pray about, that's what she put the, you know. She said, if you have to pray about talking to me, then this tells me everything I need to know about you and this friendship. Did I not get blocked? Did I not get unfriended on Facebook? Like, how is it that now I am no longer the one who's been done wrong? That was you. Because I have to think about how I feel about conversing with you again about this. Because although a few months have gone by, this has still pretty much affected me emotionally, spiritually, all types of stuff. You're supposed to be a covenant friend from church who we like this or whatever, but you do all these things to show me that in a way you don't really like me. But now you ready to talk to me. Like, I don't know how now we have to move on your time. So I'm just like, you know what? I get where you're coming from. But here's the thing. You took your time to do what you needed to do when you blocked me and unfriended me. I'm going to take time to do what I need to do to prepare for this conversation if we need to have one. I love you. Hope you have a good day. Like, so eventually she ended up responding well to that. And then some old time goes by. I see her at church. She say, what up? We still need to talk. I'm like, yeah, you right. Okay, cool. And then time goes by again. And so then I pray for real. And God leads me to reach out so we can have a conversation. So we did end up having a conversation. And what was special about this conversation was the fact that even though I was done wrongly, even though at the end of the day, I wasn't, I didn't deserve that treatment, I still said to her, I apologize for anything I've done or didn't do without realizing it, without considering how my actions or lack thereof would affect you. Because sometimes, yeah, we can be doing our best, just like I'm gonna do what I know represents good friendship. Sometimes we could be doing all the things, but we could still be dropping the ball. We could still be missing some things. We could still be unaware of how certain words or certain actions can affect people. It just is what it is because we're not perfect. And while it would have been very healthy and mature of her to say in these different moments, hey, I feel left out by you and Brandon. I feel left out by you and so-and-so. I want to be closer to y'all, so can y'all let me in on the conversation, on the jokes or whatever. All of that would have been great. However, everybody grows and learns at a different pace. I might have been more exposed to different forms of friendships and different ways of responding because of me maybe being 2 years older, maybe a different environment, the fact that I lived in a different country at the time, maybe because I've been around different types of people, my family. Like, it could be a host of reasons as to why I could understand things or respond differently to things to her. Who knows? And so I just felt like it was right to apologize for what I didn't say and apologize for what I missed. Whatever I did to make her feel less loved or less considered, I apologize for that. She ended up apologizing. She ended up holding herself accountable. Like, it was all types of revelations during that conversation. And it ultimately led us to hug it out at church. And, I feel like overall, the connection just shifted. On the flip side, I will say that in these situations where I get ghosted, sometimes it's hard for me to release the residue of that trauma. And it might not be the most aggressive form of trauma or the most severe, but that stung. Like, that hurt. That situation hurt. And when I dwell on it, even now, sometimes if it comes up or if I get triggered, I'm brought back to that moment of realizing that I'm not included, realizing that this was done purposely. And I have to surrender that to God, because that is a relationship or friendship that I still hold close to my heart. I view her as a sister. And so I have to be mindful of how deeply it can still impact me even today, even 5 years later, you know? So I do feel that that situation changed how I handle relationships. It changed that relationship in general. But I will say that I'm grateful for where we are now and where we will go. I feel like we'll continue to mature, and hopefully God continues to bless the bond. Twist, right? That's a major twist. So that was my story time. Don't go hard in the comments. Y'all don't have to go for broke, saying nothing crazy. But I would like to hear if you've had similar experiences, whether it ended well or if it didn't. I'm curious to know about you all's experience. Also, before I go, if you haven't already purchased Healing Through Rejection, please do so. Support me, y'all. You can find this on Amazon by Jay, Jay, space, Denee apostrophe, Healing Through Rejection. Or you can shop on my Etsy and download the PDF for almost half of what it costs on Amazon. So yeah, y'all support me. Show me. But yeah, I love y'all so much, man. This was a story time that I struggled with choosing to share, but I did. I was honest, and I want to hear about y'all's experiences. I love y'all so much. Have an amazing week. It's hump day. So get through the week. Finish strong. All right, y'all. Bye.